Hey Joe, you ready for tonight? Why so glum, Joe? What's going on with this face? Is the camera recording?
It is. It is, Peter. I need to memorialize how I feel. This is not an intervention. Maybe it's an intervention for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did on Thursday? You know what I did with my free time?
Masturbate furiously, man, because I'm right there
That
with
would have been far more interesting and
productive.
worthwhile.
Yeah,
Productive. No, I watched Strange New World season 2 episode 1.
you were super hyped about that too. We
I
gave
was.
season one a very glowing review.
You were okay on it too. I mean, to catch people
It
up.
was good. It was
We
good. We
were
celebrated it.
solid B. B. It was uneven
And a B in
writing.
Kurtzman Trek is like an A plus.
Yeah. I mean, this is like your worst student showing up and actually remembering how to spell his name. It's like, all right, we've
Mm-hmm.
made progress here.
So why are you sad today on Friday, the 16th?
Because after watching that, it's like there was a karmic debt that was owed for Picard season 3, and it just had to get cashed in. I don't want to say it's the worst Trek I have ever seen, because you and I have seen some bad Berman era shit. I've also a human being that's seen Discovery. So really,
Picard
how much
season one.
Picard season 2?
I didn't watch it. I don't know.
But it is possibly the most disappointing I've ever seen it, because
So you're saying Strange New Worlds season two is not good?
I don't know what the fuck it is, but the writing for this show is the worst nonsense I have ever seen. Akiva Goldman and his writing partner. I tried to think, like, what stupid brain dead jabroni millennial writes this crap? Like, what immature mind that possesses no intelligence and no trust in their audience whatsoever, while also just drinking deep of the ether of social need and commentary in the year of our Lord 2023, wrote this claptrap. And then I see it's Akiva Goldman and his writing partner, who are both Gen Xers, right? So I can't even blame like youth and a particular generational cohort on this. No, actual factual adults wrote this, and I cannot understand it. Do you want a quick review? Do you want to understand why I'm angry about this?
Who could have ever predicted that Strange New Worlds and any Kurtzman property would be a big fucking waste of time and also awful?
Was it you?
This guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Was it you? I think it was you.
It took a whole season. And let's okay, I haven't watched any of this. I will probably watch the first couple episodes of season two because I enjoyed season one, and more importantly, my wife enjoyed season one, who is not traditionally a Trekker. So I'll give it a fair shake because I would say season one earned it. But nothing you are saying right now surprises me. And before we get into your full autopsy on this thing, Lower Decks was good because nobody was paying attention to it.
That's true
And
facts.
uh, Strange New Worlds, Akiva broke off from Kurtzman to do his own thing and needed to get the trust of the studio to say, hey, cover me while I'm behind my boss's back. So they finally broke down and did the thing, which is give the fans what they've wanted. They stopped actively doing what they wanted and gave the fans what they wanted, which is the easiest fucking thing. Star Trek is an easy show to write for
Three
because you've
foot
got
putt.
what 40 years of good Trek where you can go, people like these episodes, they didn't like those episodes, and if I write like the group A episodes, it's going to be an easy win and I can sell action figures and whatever,
Or just get people to watch. I mean, we're
or
not
get
the,
people to
the
watch.
expectations are fucking low at this point.
Stop using the show as your platform for whatever social commentary you're trying to ram down people's throat and give the people what they're there to see. And now you get into season two, and eyes are back on there, or maybe Akiva's justified himself, so like the execs have backed off and he can go back to doing what made Discovery go right down the fucking drain. But what is your interpretation?
Okay, so first things first, what was the worst part of season 1?
The worst episode or the worst element?
The worst element.
I think we said that it was terrible pacing, where people are making MacGyver Titan leaps of logic to solve ridiculous plot. So like the show plot for some episodes was the background, and at the foreground was unnecessary interpersonal drama.
Oh,
Or
good. You nailed it, Peter. Like, I've got it in one.
mm-hmm.
So
I'm a professional. All right.
this, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty and some specific details. And God, like Uhura and the actress who plays is like a of tear in space time where acting goes to die, and they just like double down on her Yas Queen bullshit. And there's all kinds of this little stuff of like, all the women are the ones in charge and they're always right, and they're talking down to the men and they make a real fucking point of it. And that stuff, like, it's there and it's just like this fucking background hiss that just kind of pisses you off. But it is not the worst part. The worst part is that when this show last season was indulging its worst habits, what did it do? It disrespected its audience, treated them like children, didn't respect the seriousness of its own premise, and just wrote themselves into solutions that made absolutely no fucking sense, leaving gaping plot holes all over the place that you just can't help but fall the fuck into as you're watching it and take you completely out of the experience in the first place. This episode is essentially like it's self-filler, because the finale from last season was number one, getting arrested for being an illegal genetically modified person, and they basically take Pike out of the episode because she's like, he's out getting fucking Una a lawyer, and so Spock is left in command of Enterprise. And the idea is Lon, discount drummer, contacts Enterprise to say, I'm on my hunt for like Gorn related stuff and finding like the parents of that girl I rescued and everything else. And by the way, I found this galaxy, this Federation imperiling threat, and I need Enterprise to help. Okay. Relatively basic premise. Every single decision that they make in this episode, from how your main characters act, how they're characterized, how they shortcut everything that they set up in the first part of the episode when it comes time for the climax, completely underwrite everything that's going on, and then just come up with a pat ending from nowhere, is actual amateur hour nonsense. And it's like Henry Alonzo Myers and Akiva Goldsman. They are the credited writers, directed by Chris Fisher. These guys are fuck. Like, I cannot describe to you how bad they are at their jobs. That they made this, they put it on film, and they said, ship it. Ship it. That's good. Like, I 6-year-olds can come up with better plots than this.
I saw some pretty positive reactions to the episode on the trauma support group, so I'll be curious to see when I watch it where my needle's coming in on this. But we had special. I don't know if you used it as Patreon. I know you said it was SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
Legacy properties and why they failed to connect with their target, with the target audience that put them on the map. And then there was a suggestion that, as far as the showrunners are concerned, is that still the target audience, or are they trying to intentionally distance themselves?
I'm
As
completely with you on where you're going with this, but keep going.
As you know, old men at this point, 40-year-olds, right?
Fair.
You need to realize that the things you love and the things you grew up with have gone off the rails. They are no longer in the hands of the creators that conceptualized them, that worked the rough piece of stone into a smooth, detailed product worthy of consumer attention. They accomplished something in creating a franchise superpower to the point that something bigger came along and said, this has value, and I'm going to pay you, and I'm going to take it from you. Maybe you're still alive in the case of George Lucas, who sold off Star Wars to Disney. Maybe you're dead. You're Gene Roddenberry. And Star Trek had a real good run because he had a hand-picked successor, Rick Berman, which, for all of his faults, still stayed true to the dream, right?
True.
But now enough time has passed in Star Trek, Star Wars, there's other properties out there that corporate handlers are now in possession of this IP, and they do not care. They
Or
don't
they don't
care.
or they don't understand, or they think that there's something about it they can translate into a different
When I
different
say they don't
demo.
care, I'm saying there's no loyalty to the old, to what it was.
And
And what they
except in the
care
case
about
of
is it's no longer a story, it's a platform to accomplish whatever their goal is. And maybe that goal could be, I want to tell good sci-fi. Maybe that goal is, I have social commentary, and here's this thing that's going to get a lot of eyeballs, or it was worth a lot. It's a very expensive toy, and I now get to go,
there's definitely some there's
look at
some
me
of
telling my
that in it.
story.
There's some of that in there. Like I said, it's like an annoying background noise, but and I'm with you. I am. When we did that segment for SoundCloud, like I bought in, but for this, it's really more that they're just bad at making a television show, and I
I gotta
cannot
watch this
describe
now,
it.
man,
You
because
got
again,
to
I'm
see it.
I'm
You got to
seeing
see it.
support on this thing, and you and I have had wildly differing opinions on things in the past. I want to watch this and see, is it really that bad? Because you can have bad Star Trek. It
Like
cannot be episode 1 of a new season. That
they
can't be what you lead on.
they invent here's a quick appetizer. They create new tragic backstories for existing characters that already had tragic backstories
You
because
can
we
only
just
have
gotta
so
lump
much.
we got more in there, right? Like Mbenga and Nurse Chapel, right? Now you remember how Mbenga had his tragic backstory that was his daughter had turbo cancer, but then got whisked away by a space child, and then they just
Speaking
like
of giant plot holes, you can't help but fall into.
hold on. Let me lay this out for you, okay? So they solved his fucking tragic backstory. So I gotta give him a new one. So you know what his new one is? Is that he and Nurse Chapel, they're not just acquainted as a consequence of Chapel coming in as a civilian to work on Enterprise and being this like geneticist and all that sort of thing. No, no, no. They were a duo of like uh, war veteran medical providers that not only have terrible, Klingon war experiences and like have PTSD, but developed boutique Federation stim packs so they can be super soldiers. And then they take that shit and have a 15-minute running fight scene where they happen to fight a bunch of Klingons with pipes over and over and over again. Literally 3 scenes in a row. It's like they ran out of script. They like didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, what are we going to explain how it is that this plot is happening right now? Why there's a Federation ship that's in this fucking mine? How they built it? Who's running this plan? What their motivations are? No. Let's have Mbenga and Chapel literally fight gangs of Klingons with pipes over and over again with no dialogue because we don't know what else to fuck to do. Like that's it. Oh, let's make sure we mention that Spock has feelings and he's not like other Vulcans 6 fucking times in this episode because that's not just the whole point of Spock's character for the last 60 fucking years. Right? Like that's it. That is originally Spock's thing. We know he's emotional. He's half human. That's literally it. Why do you keep telling us? Why do you think we not know this?
You better be careful with this YouTube clip, man, because you're gonna end up middle-aged rage guy. You're
I'm
making your own
comfortable with
memes.
who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. The only thing I can
Let me real quick. You're talking. We talk about Enterprise because that's the main show we're reviewing right now. Is it sci-fi or is it an action show with sci-fi elements? I go to Jurassic Park. I go to Next Gen, and these were respectable, good characters because they didn't have to be dumb action heroes, right? Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Ian
they're
Malcolm,
scientists.
Dr.
They're nerds.
Harding.
Yeah.
right? They could just be smart people who don't act dumb under stress, and you're like, okay, this seems feasible. They don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone. Dr. Crusher, Troy, Jordy. Like, how many run and guns did Jordy have? Right? Like,
The closest to an action scene he got was rolling under the emergency door. You know, like
Worf
he,
and Data used to toss fools around, right?
Mhm.
But you didn't have to have that goofy element. And you tell me that the doctor and the geneticist are having like Captain America Civil War scenes versus Hydra, like
Yes.
that's
And this is
that's
after like
weak.
these,
That's weak. That's
and you
weak.
just invent this too. Like you already had backstories for them, and you just like added a layer of tragic backstory to it. And at the same time, like again, all of the
Are
bad
these
habits.
studio notes? Like I
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
Like
want
it.
to invest the time to like really get to the answers on this because it's ultimately a property I can walk away from very easily, but like you did some really good work in season 1. So, did the studio take a step back and say, "Do whatever you want, and this is what you wanted"? Did the studio come in and say, "Listen, this was the one that resonated, and here's some notes"? Uh, how do you just whip the wheel to the side and try to get off on Shittown exit? I got to see this thing now.
Yeah, like they rip off of Raiders of the Lost Ark to bring Lon back into the plot. Like literally have her do the Marion Ravenwood thing like straight away. They again this weird inability of Kurtzman Trek when it's not specifically Metalis for Starfleet not to treat itself like a serious paramilitary organization. I know it's not a military organization, but it is paramilitary. They have ranks. They
It's
respect
been
the chain of
accused of
command.
being a military organization, even in when Kirk's son said, "Of course, the military's involved in Genesis."
Yeah, and I understand that there's a bit of a depends on who has the wheel on how militaristic it is. And when who is it that directed Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 6, Meyer, I forget his first name. He took a much more militaristic approach to Star Trek generally. And he famously conflicted with Roddenberry on that, but also he was proven correct in how well Wrath of Khan ultimately ended up doing. And I get that if you want to play it a little softer, but it's like none of these people are even treating it like it's a serious rank matters at all. You know, like it's like it's an honorific with no sense of genuine authority. The only thing I can recommend, I'll leave this on a positive note. Carol Kane is awesome. They
That's
brought
the
Carol
biggest
Kane into
concerning
this.
stuff I heard on that is that they're treating Taxi as genre.
Yes. But that's actually the fun part. Like they make it
No,
work. They
no.
do. It is the only part that works for me is that Carol Kane shows up. She's literally her character from Taxi, and the explanation is she's an alien from a like near immortal species, and she's been living on Earth that
Throw that
entire
shit
time.
right in the trash, man. That's stupid.
And well, I think you might warm up to it after you see it. Like her whole intro is she immediately smells out Spock's plan to steal the Enterprise to go help Lon, like because she's seen it all, and she's like, "So you gonna go commit crimes? Are you doing space crimes? I want to. You know what? This is how you do it. I want to go. I'm going with you. I am inviting myself on your crimes." And so it's this big mystery as to why she like enables them, and she like explains later, like, I am immortal. I'm fucking bored. Like you guys seem fun. I'm just gonna go along with what you're doing.
Okay.
It's an element where because she's clearly supposed to be the comic relief and sort of mysterious, it
Here's
really
the good
works.
note is the fact that you're trashing the parts I haven't seen and I don't know about, but then you're here praising this dog shit. So I might be able to chalk this whole rant up to just you're really wrong. You're absolutely wrong about a lot of stuff tonight, and maybe this season 2 is all right after all. Uh, we'll see, man. Um, I didn't even know. I mean, I don't watch TV, so I'm not catching commercials. Not that this stuff is airing on broadcast anyways. It's all streaming stuff, so I'm sure I'll come across it one way or another, and then we'll see.
Oh, you'll see. All right.
Hmm.
You'll see.